there's so much competition in dentistry from large group practices, small group practices, really well run multi-specialty practices. If you're not willing to fail and get better at and try new things, your practice model won't last.
You're not going to be able to be bold and a perfectionist. You're not going to be able to be, if you're not comfortable with learning how to fail, then you're probably not going to be able to be bold. Is that right?
That's absolutely it. You have to, what bold people know is that failure is just a stairway up. It is, we have this huge thing about failures. Like we get to 2021, we never want to fail at anything ever again, except for bold people who say, and they are entrepreneurs a lot of times, and they're really successful dentists. They are always trying new technology, and it's like, wow, this is technique sensitive, but I am going to master it.
Yeah.
I'm going to hurt a few patients till I figure this out. And it's so that shifting that mindset about failure and stop labeling things as bad just because you made a mistake. To call a mistake a failure it's only a failure if you stop learning.
So how much of boldness do you, in your opinion, have to do with like being successful? Is it can you be successful to a certain level without boldness because you don't have to take a lot of risk, or is there just levels of boldness all along the way and you just have to become more and more bold?
I think you can be moderately successful. I mean, I know successful dentists who are not particularly bold. They're just they have a good team around them that builds their practice, and they have good clinical skills, but they need a lot more luck at that point. They need to have picked the right neighborhood that that's growing, and a lot of them don't know that, and maybe the competition didn't move in. But now and that was much more true 20 years ago when I first was in the business. You could just put out a sign and have a dental practice.
Yeah.
Those days are over.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much competition in dentistry from large group practices, small group practices, really well run multi-specialty practices. If you're not willing to fail and get better at and try new things, your practice model won't last. It won't last a decade anymore.
What
So
do you think the steps are to be like super bold, like for someone to just be out there and not be like a jerk about it, right? Because I think that when I hear somebody just super bold in the industry, like a bull in a china shop, how can I be super bold but also not be that one guy nobody likes?
yeah, the boldness doesn't mean you're arrogant or a show off or a narcissist. A narcissist is actually incredibly insecure. They can't be wrong. Right. And you talked about perfectionism. That's the other trap is I need to be really good at this before I try it, which is ridiculous, right? You couldn't learn a musical instrument by reading a book, right? You would have to play the instrument badly and then better and better and better. It's the same thing about everything in life, social skills, all of that stuff. We think we're supposed to know these things and we don't. We learn them, and we learn them a little bit by trial and error. You want some insight into what works and what doesn't, which a lot of people don't teach you either. But you want to be able to say, I want to meet whoever I want. So basically, how would you start? You would start talking to strangers every day, and where it doesn't matter. So that it's just like exercise. You're bench pressing. It doesn't matter. You're never going to have to get 200 pounds off your chest, hopefully. But it makes you stronger. So you do boldness exercises. I'm going to talk to strangers. I'm going to smile at people. I'm going to, and every time you catch yourself resisting, like if you hate to return stuff that you bought, even though you don't want it or it doesn't do what it does, there's a clue. There's no reason why you shouldn't bring it back. So I try to bring stuff back that there's no way they're going to give me my money back. It's like I've worn it out or something, just for exercise, just to say, they look at me and remarkably, they'll take it back, because the clerk doesn't give a shit, right? They're like, yeah, I'll take it. Here's your money back. Get out of my face.